Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 4. I believe everyone can hear me, and if you can hear me and you can see my screen, please let me know in the comment section, please. If you can hear me in the comment section, let me know. If you can hear me in the comment section, okay, loud and clear. All right. Okay, so welcome again and good evening once again. How are we doing? How was your day? Let me know in the comment section how we are doing before we start. How are we all doing? Let me know before we start. And how far have the classes been going? Let's get to talk before we start today's topic. How have the classes been so far? Okay, Blessed said his day was stressful. Oh, my own day was stressful. Though I didn't go out, but I've been busy since morning with other things at home. Chima said, okay, let's talk. How have the classes been? The class has been low. Ah, Eric, the class has been low. Chima said the classes has been insightful. Which one is the classes has been low? I don't understand. The classes has been nice. We'll keep learning. The classes has been okay, sir. Very fine, sir. All right. This person that is crying, Rose, why are you crying? Rose, why are you crying? Are you okay? So I believe everyone is following up, and the last 4 classes, we've all covered that up. Oh, Rose, this is your first time joining here. You're welcome. You're welcome. Please do well to hit the subscribe button so you don't get to miss out. And if you actually want to still be part of this particular class, since you've been able to actually show up for this one, you can drop your number in the comment section. I'm going to reach out to you and add you to the group for showing up so you get to keep keep up with the rest of the classes. So I'll drop my number in the comment section so you get to maybe text me and you'll be added to the group. Okay. All right, so we'll be starting right away. This is 8:05. So we've already discussed order block previously, and today we'll be having this section into 3 parts. The first part we'll be looking at is what order block, just like what we discussed previously. Because from the assignment that was submitted, I noticed a lot of persons they still have one or two to actually get to put together, one or two to actually get done or get it right in marking their order block valid order blocks. So we'll start with that. Then the second part of this class will be dealing with multiple order blocks. dealing with multiple order blocks. And lastly, we'll be looking at what order blocks across smaller time frames, or refining your order blocks to smaller time frames. Maybe refining your trade zones or your setup to 5 minutes, 15 minutes, there about. Maybe when you look at your chart from 4 hours, 1 hour, you get to refine down to smaller time frames. So that's basically what we'll be looking out. All right, so going straight into today's chart. First, I want to draw what we want to look at for. Then, so the first one, as you said, from the bearish market, this is what we have. This is what we have, and price goes up, come back down, and from what we learned, we said this point is our inducement, and this is where we want to see price come back to before what continuing to the downside. Now, from the last class, we said when you have this low, and when you have this high here, provided this high is still protected, or provided the market is still below this low, we are still what? Bearish. Provided the price is still at this point, we are still bearish, because this is what we want to see. We want to see price come back into this supply here, this way, please, a minute. All right, Sorry for that little break in transmission. So I believe we can all hear me. So from what I was explaining, we had this supply here. We have this supply and we have this inducement zone here. So this zone is your inducement. You have your breaker structure here. You have this breaker structure. You have this breaker structure at this part here too. You have this breaker structure at this part. And having this breaker structure at this part, this other block you have here isn't valid. From the criteria we listed, I don't want to go over listing that. I believe everyone is with their notes, so they already know the criteria we are using for this particular setup. So at this part here, this is the low you have, and this breaker structure you have to the downside. This high here is your inducement. So the other block after this, that's one you will be looking to actually take your trade from. That's when you'll be looking to actually take your trade from. And for us to actually take our trade from there, we say we want to see what presence of momentum, we want to see what inducement, we want to see what fair value gap, valid breaker structure, or change of character. All of those things are things we actually want to see on our zone or the particular other block we want to take our trade from. So let's go into the chart now to actually look at for this particular setup. All right, so here we are on AUD NZD. I think there was a particular chart somebody sent yesterday that I actually wanted to use that chart to do the markup for today. So let's look at this. I think it was Euro NZD. Let me see. Before I proceed, how many percent later checked the USD CHF we analyzed last week? How many percent has checked that? But I think someone sent that stuff yesterday. How many percent has checked that? How many percent? Let me know. And how many percent can remember that particular setup I'm talking about? How many percent can remember the particular setup I'm talking about? Let me know. If you can remember the particular setup I'm talking about, the USD CHF that we discussed last week. I think let's get to look at that particular setup first. Yes. Because I know, yes, someone sent it. Okay, so this was the setup. This was the setup as of last week, and I think as of last week, I think it was last week. As of last week Friday during the class, this pair was somewhere here. Yes, this pair was somewhere here, and I said something. I was like, I want to see this give me this inducement at this point, or this engineered liquidity here. Then I see price pull back down first before coming into this zone. Then I want to see continuation to the downside. That's what we are looking at for, and the price actually gave us engineered liquidity, which is this high. We still have our fair value gap. We have this zone still there, and now price is currently at this supply zone and is reacting a little bit. It hasn't dropped properly. And I think when Chima reached out to me, was it yesterday, maybe today, when he sent this setup, the setup was sent to we've already gotten this confirmation we are looking at for, and I was like, yeah, this is what we wanted to see, and price has given it to us. So let's see what happens at this point, if the price will drop or the price will continue to the upside. So this is what we wanted to see. So this is an example of engineered liquidity. And from what I said last week, I said this other block will only be valid if we have this engineered liquidity, or price give us an inducement. So if price does not give us this, then I will not want to see this setup play out. If price does not give us this high, I will not want to see this price drop. And that's what I just explained in the diagram I drew before this particular chart. So let's head over to the Euro NZD. You don't need to make your chart complicated. You don't need to make the whole process. It's very, very simple to actually do. I think we also have another setup we actually looked at on USD card. Okay, so now let's look at our order block. So looking at our order block here, I think there was a setup someone sent. Okay, I think this is it. So now let's get to look at this particular pair. So first we'll be starting with marking all of our breakout structures. That's where we'll be starting from. So let's mark from the bearish before the market gave us a change of character. So at this point here, we had this change of character to the downside. This was internal change of character to the downside. This was internal, and I'm doing this particular section for those that actually had issues with marking the change of character. So having this change of character now, we look at the next place we had our low taken out. Try to always make sure your chart is neat and clean. Make sure your chart is always neat and clean, because I think that's another thing that a lot of persons are lacking in their charts. So we have our change of character, our breakout structure. First, what do you want to see? We already have this liquidity at this low. We have this liquidity at this low. And where was the last order block we were expecting price to come back to? Look at this point here. We have this order block sitting here. So this will have served as our inducement. Yeah. That's our inducement. So we're actually expecting this price to come back into this point, because I said something while I was explaining liquidity, and as I said, don't get to skip any part of the class. I said something when I was talking about liquidity. I was like, if you have a trend line to the upside, you have to be very, very careful, because that can actually lure you into taking trades. Trend line liquidity. And if you see, we have trend line liquidity at this point. So having all of this liquidity, we were expecting price to come back to this zone. And what happened? The price just came, wicked into this liquidity point and reversed to the upside. Now, we had a change of character here. And after having this change of character, we had a breakout structure. What did you notice about this particular breakout structure? We have this liquidity at this point. You have this liquidity at that point. Yeah. And after having this liquidity, we have our fair value gap here. I believe we all know how to mark our fair value gaps. And if you don't, please do well to review all we've done and get to go over your chart properly. After having this liquidity here, breakout structure, change of character, this was our order block at that point. This was our order block. Now, what did you see? Price pulled into this zone, tapped into here, and price reacted to the downside. Now, having this price reacting to the downside, we want to see price take out this low. This was the low we were expecting price to take out here. And for price to take out this low, it will now validate this point. So you will label this low here as liquidity, or you can tag it your low or anything, but I prefer going with just tagging it as liquidity, because I said liquidity rests at old highs and old lows. So this is my liquidity sitting at this point. So I want to see this price tap into this zone, then continue to the downside. But what happened? The price tapped, continued to the downside, and based on how I trade mostly one. I actually go with 1:3 most times. So I believe this will have actually this is like 1:3 or 1:4 to 1:5. We will not understand that until when we get to actually introduce all of those trading markup and all of those things later. So I would have loved to see this price take out this low before getting to this point, but the price dumped, then reversed to the upside. Now, price reversing to the upside, your chart will now be marked in a new dimension. So I will take out this liquidity. I'll take out this liquidity here. So the next thing I will have on my chart is here. as what? My change of character. That's my change of character because that was what? The last low. So I have my change of character here to the upside. Then what do I have next? I have my break of structure here. So that's my break of structure. Having that break of structure, where is your order block? Because that's one thing you need to look at for, or let's get to mark all of the structures first. So at this point, I have my break of structure here. For people that are using mobile, that are complaining of marking their chart with using phone and all of those things, do reach out to me on WhatsApp and maybe I will make a video for you guys or have a private section for you guys using phone to actually explain all of these things. But for those that are using laptop, desktop, anything computer, you don't have issues. Alright, so you can actually see this labeling. This is clean and this looks so good. If I should say something like that. And this particular example also has to do with where we are talking about working with multiple order blocks. So if you notice, we have the first zone here. Please take note because the next assignment will be on marking multiple order blocks. And you see this break of structure above at this point. First, this zone, we can't consider this particular one. But let me not even just go ahead to expose whatever I want to explain or something. We have this one here, and we have the next one at this point here. So, looking at this particular setup, having all of these three order blocks, first, we already know that this first one can't go. This first one can't work. And why can't this first one work? This is an inducement. This is an inducement for us. So we've already removed that one. Now the next thing we want to look for here is what? You already see we have all of these lows. That's what? Liquidity. Liquidity. You see the way I'm marking this whole thing? It looks simple. So yeah, being asked to 2 years. So this is our liquidity. So you pull it to this side. That's our liquidity. We have this zone. And if I was actually looking at this particular setup, I would have actually loved to trade from this second zone. Why would I have loved to actually trade from this second zone? I would have loved to trade from second zone because I have this liquidity. Yeah. So this zone should have actually worked because this is where you have all of this liquidity before. So we should be expecting market to react from this zone. But when you have, in a case or cases where you have zones like this, that you have 1, 2, up to 3, it's best you go with extreme zones. If you want to go with this second one, you should maybe be going in with entry confirmation, and that is what we also want to discuss on tonight's section. So if we want to actually work with this level, we want to go in with entry confirmation. Now, what do I mean by entry confirmation? This is what we want to see. We have this setup. We said we want to see price move this way, break structure, come back, and price coming back into this zone before going to the upside. Now, when this price comes back to this zone here, when price comes back to this zone here, let me take this back. So let's say when price comes back to this and returns back to this zone, this is what we want to see on the smaller time frame. So for us to actually get what we call entry confirmation, we want to see this price give us something like this on the smaller time frame. Maybe the main chart we had there was on the 1 hour, on the 4 hours. So on, you will not step down to 15 minutes when the price is already on this other block. Then you see price come back down on 15 minutes, give you this change of character. Give us this change of character on 15 minutes. And after having that 15 minutes change of character, you will now mark the nearest order block here at this point and take your trade. Then you target this high. That's what we want to see on the 15 minutes. So on this particular trade, if it's something like we actually wanted to work with this particular order block, this is what we'll have loved to see. So when this price came into this point on these 2 hours, we'll have gone back to our chart, go to the 15 minutes. Let's look at what we have here. So now we want to see this price come back into this zone. You see what this price is doing here? If maybe this price didn't break below this point, I'll have actually loved to take this trade when this trade is coming back down. So look at what this price did at this point. We have, let me get to mark it properly. So you have this high, here, and price took out this low at this point. Price taken at this low, you want to see price break above this without violating this order block. So if this price was able to actually reverse from somewhere like this, let's say from this point this way, when it comes back down, we'll have actually taken our trade. So look at a live chart we have here. So this particular thing, this price is displaying here. I would have loved to see it display without breaking below this point. So this is all I've loved to see. Price giving me what? A change of character. I don't want to work with the internal change of character. I want to work with the external. So for my 15 minutes, this is my external. We have internal change of character here. I don't want to work with that one, because what? A lot of time price can actually give you this change of character and it comes back to this point. This is still like a supply. I don't know if it's making sense. This is still like a supply. So if this price should pull to this point, you see the way it reacted to the downside. It can still continue this way to the downside, because if you look at this point, there's a trend line liquidity here. See, when you're actually marking your chart, you need to actually stay very, very disciplined. Like, you have to be very, very disciplined. You have to make sure that you take note of every little detail. There's no point trying to rush whatever you're doing. Take your time. And that's why I advise you don't look at multiple setups or multiple pairs. If you want to do max 3 to 5, so that you can actually be focused. So we have our liquidity there, sitting here. So now, where is our order block? This is the order block. We'll have actually love to see our trade come back into. This will have been the liquidity. So we want to see price come back to this. But we are not actually working with this because we have this zone below. And price has actually violated this one by breaking down. So this can actually serve as an engineered liquidity if you go down to the 1 hour or on the 2 hours that we are looking at. I don't know if you actually understand what I just explained for the entry confirmation, but we'll still do a lot of examples though. So this is still my liquidity. So I want price to actually take out this one on the 2 hours. But what I just explained on the 15 minutes is what I would have loved to see if this zone was not broken. So now that the zone is broken, I want to see price come to this zone before we continue to the upside. So when you have multiple order blocks, it's best you look out for the extreme zones. Now, if you look at this extreme zone, this is if you look at the extreme zone, this extreme zone gives you external and internal market structure. First, this whole of this push from here to the upside is one wave of price. And whatever this price is doing here till it takes out this order block, that's when the price now becomes a bearish market on the 2 hours. For now, provided this order block is still intact, this price is still bullish. That's it. The price is still what? Bullish. So we want to see price come to this zone and react to the upside. But within this internal what? Internal structure, price is what? Bearish to the downside. Now, look at something. Let me get to take everything off. Now, if you look at this one, after we had, let me say, this is a change of character. We want to mark it to the bearish part now. We have what? Our break of structure at this level. We have what? This zone. We have this zone. Is this order block a valid order block? Let me know. If you say yes, state the reason why. I want to see everyone's opinion. We are over 19. We are 19 on this score. I want to see 19 replies. Make contribution. Is this a valid order block based on what we've done so far, what we've done in the previous class? Is this a valid order block? Yes, state it. And if it's no, state why too. Let's interact. Let's know why. Is this a valid order block? Yes or no? If yes, why? And if no, why? Let's know. Let's discuss. Let's interact. If it's a valid order block, let's know why. And if no, also state your reason. No, this is my reason. Yes, this is my reason. So let's look at it. Look at the order block. Is it a valid one? We have a change of character, break of structure, and this. Let's know in the comment section. Okay, Excel said no, it is because it is a what? An inducement zone. Okay. Let's hear from other persons. We are 20 on the call. So let's get to know. It is not a valid because there is no liquidity or inducement before it. Blessed, we said there's nothing like no. You state your reason why. So what was your reason? What was your reason? Let's interact. Nope, because there's no inducement. Okay. We've gotten 4 replies. No, because that will serve as an inducement. Okay. We've gotten 5. So we have more 16 persons to reply. No, there are other criteria. Okay. No, the other criteria are not there. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm actually loving this because we actually picking the points properly and we are actually understanding the whole thing. So let me get to take this off first. So if I should take that out, first thing we will notice is this is a liquidity point. It is not a valid because we said the external structure controls the internal and this will serve as an inducement. It is not. My reason is not valid. Alright, so let me just assume, because there is no idea. Okay, let me just assume because a lot of persons will actually maybe choosing something else. Yes, this will serve as a lot of persons will actually choosing something else because what? Maybe because I think why everybody is kind of like going with no is because they have seen other people's reply. So maybe next time I will do a kind of like a poll and it will be on the WhatsApp group. Okay, so if you look at this, this is a liquidity. This is a liquidity. I want to see this price fill this fair value gap up here, then run into this point. Then maybe we should be looking for possible sales then. That's it. So the criteria are not met properly. the criteria are not met properly. So for this particular one, we are all right, and this is what a liquidity point. This is a liquidity point, so we are right. Now let's look at another scenario. So I think I'm seeing something else here. I'm seeing something else. So let's work with this being what? Our break or structure. This being another word, break or structure to the upside. This being another break or structure to the upside. And I think we've done more of buys. Let's get to, I want to look for more sell. I want to see something very, very complicating. Let me get to check. Okay, so I think like two persons actually sent this. Two persons, I mean 3 persons, and 1 person actually got it. So right. Alright, so we have this. This is similar to what we just did. So on this particular one, looking at this chart here, we have our break of structure here, and we have this change of character here. We have this order block, and we've said that the first order block shouldn't be taken. Now we have the second one here. The second one still didn't meet our criteria. The second one didn't meet our criteria. The second one didn't meet the criteria. So now if you look at this particular chart, I believe this is more visible to everyone to see. And if maybe you're not seeing properly or the chart isn't looking clear, tap on the setting icon on your screen. I think that's like, yes, the top right corner of your phone. If you're using phone or tab, then select higher picture quality. The screen will be more brighter and the images will be bigger and more visible for you to see properly. Alright, so if we should look at this setup, we've discussed multiple order blocks. I talked about this is one zone, and this is the second zone. We have this one, and I said when you have this type of scenario, most times I don't know the issues you are having, blessed. I don't know if that is not visible, but from the other device I'm using as observer, to actually know that if my live stream is up and running properly, everything is showing properly. So I don't know. So just try the higher picture quality. Okay, so having this scenario here, we have this other block and we have this one. And from what I've explained, I said when you have multiple other blocks, we will likely want to work with the extreme. Now, when you're talking about extreme, you're talking about the one at the end or at the top. If this chart was like vice versa of this, then we'll have actually be looking at the extreme at this end. But for this particular scenario, this is what we are going to be working with. We want to see price come back into this zone here. This is what we want to see price do. Come back into this zone, because price might likely use this as an inducement. So we want to work with this extreme. So we want to see this price sell all the way down to this point. You need to practice to actually understand all of these things. So when you have multiple zones, a lot of times The only thing that can actually make you to want to trade from this one is if price gives you a confirmation. But a lot of times when you have extreme zones, go with the extreme. Always wait for extreme zones. The only thing that will actually make you not to wait for extreme zone is if this zone is far up from this one. But if this zone is a little bit closer to this extreme, then there's a high probability that this zone will be used as an inducement. And in some cases, price will also come back into this zone and react to the upside. It's possible. It's possible. Let me see if we can find any example where something like this happened. So let's get to see if we can find a chart like that. Oh, what do I mean by extreme zone? Look at what I mean by extreme zone here now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you have this type of setup, you have this so we have something like this, and we have this zone. We have this zone. Once you mark your chart and you see this type of order blocks, you don't even need to waste the time. You don't even need to think it twice. The next thing you should do is delete this, and wait for market to do this before continue to the upside. It's simple. Now, I think we have something like this on this extreme zone. Let me get to show you. I think that was actually what happened on GBP JPY. If you attended the Monday live stream, that chart was well explained. Sorry. That chart was well explained. So this is what I mean by extreme zone. Let me take everything off. Alright, so this is what I mean by extreme zone. Look at this point here. And look at this point. And look at what we have here. We have another order block here. So if you look at these three order blocks, we had break of structure, and we said momentum, right? Because of momentum, a lot of persons will have gone with this one. But this didn't actually give you inducement, so this is off. This one is off. Now, if you look at this one, this will have not served as an inducement, but as of that Monday, I said this was also off, and I said this is where this price is actually reacting from. This is where this price is reacting from. Now, if you step down to the 1 hour, I want you to get a clear picture. So if you step down to the 1 hour, this is what the 1 hour looks like. So if you look at this now, you see this is the other block. We have another other block here. But price used this one at first and went up. And because of this liquidity here, a lot of persons sold this price here. Now, when people saw this sell coming down, I think there was something that I was seeing on a lot of persons' WhatsApp status during Friday, Saturday, Sunday, actually selling this particular pair. This is what I was seeing. I was seeing them marking this as their break of structure, this as another word valid break of structure, and this was what sell for them. They have what they have this liquidity here at this point. Now when I saw this, and during the live stream on Monday, I said I don't like this pattern because I'm seeing this other block here the price is coming from, and if price is coming from this other block, let me show you something on 2 hours, because as I say, you should always do your analysis on 4 hours or on a higher time frame, so it gives you a better picture of what you're looking at. So now when I saw this point, price tapped into this zone and price sold to the downside. Now price came into this point. I wasn't expecting this price to sell again because price is coming from what? A demand zone here, an extreme demand zone that pushed price to this point. So I'm expecting what? Price should be able to take out these highs. Let me draw the line, the liquidity line I was looking at. So this is what I was expecting, for price to actually will take out all of these highs, take out the liquidity. So I was seeing that highs as what? My liquidity. And if price should take out this, I want to see price run all the way to this point, keeping same momentum to the upside. This is what I wanted to see, price coming all the way to this point. And that's why I didn't actually call out this sell on what? GBP JPY. Now we have the same thing on USD JPY. When you look at what? Extreme zones. So if you're using extreme zones, this is what we had on USD JPY. You see this extreme zone here, and what happened? Price tapped into this zone. Now let me step down to the 1 hour so you get to actually see the reason behind this particular trade idea too. So when price tapped into this point, this zone that I marked, people were seeing it as their supply zone, but I wasn't seeing it as my supply zone because I was seeing this as, if this is a valid order block, I expect price to take out the trend and liquidity. This was exactly what we marked on Monday. So I was expecting price to take out this, and that's what I explained too, for price to take out. So you see, we had a change of character. This was my inducement, and I was expecting this price to have a correctional push to the downside, tap into my my zone for me to actually take a buy, but price never came into my zone, and you can see the price was riding to the upside. So that was one thing we actually do when you have what? Extreme zone. So understanding what extreme zones when you have order blocks, it's going to actually what really help you in actually marking your order blocks. So when you come to your chart, make sure you mark all of your break of structure first before actually what getting to look at your order blocks. That's it. Now I want us to actually look at this particular entry. I will take out everything, and I want us to look at this particular entry on the smaller time frame, what I was talking about, using entry confirmation. So we have this, I think I saw something like that on GBP JPY. Let me go back to GBP JPY today. All right, so I want to look at this particular zone on GBP JPY. Look at what I saw on GBP JPY on 15 minutes. First, let me get to mark all of this out properly, so we'll get to actually understand the reason behind this. So if you look at this, we have our break here, and having our break, I saw this as my inducement here. This was my inducement. Having my inducement, if you see, I had a fair value gap here. Let me zoom that out properly. I had this fair value gap here. So using this arrow to actually indicate that I had this fair value gap that has not been filled completely. Then I had this order block, but this was marked on 30 minutes. Now this is what I was looking at for. If you go to 30 minutes, so this is what I had on 30 minutes. And this. So from the 30 minutes price action, we can see that what on 1 hour the price was what bullish to the upside. So stepping down to a lower time frame, because when I saw this on 1 hour, I was like, okay, let me just get to look at what I can see on the 30 minutes or 15 minutes, and I marked this zone. And what did you see? We had this inducement. We have what? Our liquidity. The momentum to the upside was there, giving us a valid break of structure. And when price dropped into this 30 minutes zone, you see price reacting to the upside. So that's what I was trying to explain. That was having a valid break of structure on 1 hour, having your demand zone, then you step down to what, 30 minutes or maybe 15 minutes to get maybe a better entry for you to actually what, take that trade from. Now, another advantage of actually what, taking trades from smaller time frame, despite this other zone is bigger or something, let me see if I can actually what, see something better on 5 minutes for this particular setup. So let's look at this particular setup using smaller time frame entry to actually get entry on this. All right, so we have this high. We have this high here. We have this low here. Here. We have this high again. And we have this low here. Here. And we have this. So at this point, this was where we had what, a change of character on the 5 minutes. So we have a change of character on the 5 minutes here. Let's look at what we have gotten on the 5 minutes. So having this change of character on the 5 minutes, I would have loved to see price actually what, come back into what, this here at this point. And this price never came back into this zone. It gave what, this inducement. So if I was actually going to wait for 5 minutes, I would have loved to see price come back into this zone. That's what I would love to see, but price never came into this zone. So if I was actually waiting for this price on 5 minutes, I'll have actually what, missed the trade. So let's get to check if 15 minutes will have given us any opportunity. So on 15 minutes, we still had a change of character. Price never still came into any of what the zones would have been looking at for price to actually come back into at this point. So price still never came into it at that point. Now, I'm seeing the question Excel is asking. Let me show you something and I will get to explain something to you. So if you're talking about mitigation of order blocks, this is what I want to actually explain to you. Talking about mitigation of order block, this is what we'll talk about when we're talking about mitigation of order block. You can't come here to mark this as your order block. Right? You can't come here to mark this as your order block. If this is what you want to mark as your order block, you can't come here to mark here as your order block. Because if you mark here as your order block, you have all of these lows. That means if you're marking here as your order block, you have to put this. This is what you will do, right? Your stop loss has to be below this week. And you will now be targeting what? What do you want to target? This is 1:1, save. You can't work with that. Now, when we're talking about actual mitigation of order block, this is what we want to see. Talking about mitigation of order block, this is what we mean by mitigation of order block. Look at this zone here. This zone has been mitigated. This is what we mean by mitigation. You cannot come and drag it this way and still take another sell. This is what we mean by mitigation. So this price action actually moving to this point, move to the downside. So if price should come back into this, there is no point in selling. There is no point in selling. Now, there are points where you actually would work with this type of mitigation you are looking at for, but those ones are in complex cases, not in this particular case. If you want to work with this particular one, then be ready to take more sales in the market. Now, let me get to look at another one you're looking at as mitigation. So if you look at this one here, look at this order block. Let's say we didn't see the extreme one. I want to show you something on this order block. Let's say we didn't know there was an extreme order block here. Price mitigated this order block here. Now, price has mitigated this order block. If this price should come back, you see there was a reaction to the upside. Smart money says that what? After having a first mitigation, you don't trade the order block for the second time. That's the rule. You don't trade it for the second time. So even if price came back to this point, you see it still reacted to the upside. We had no business taking that trade for the second time. Now, price came back into this point, you have no business taking it. Let me get to see if we'll have more similar examples previously. Now, okay, so let's look at the type of mitigation you were talking about now. So if you have this particular scenario, because I think I'm seeing one example presenting itself here. So we have this breaker structure at this point here. We have this breaker structure here. And where is the push coming from? This is where the push came in from. Here. So in this particular one, you have liquidity before this point and you have this zone. This one is a neater one. You can't come to put your order block at this point. So that's different from where we were, the one we had on the, this is different from this. This is different from this. You can't come to put your order block at this point. You have liquidity here now. And definitely that, and you see that's what market pulled back to. So when you're marking your order block, you have to actually what? You have to think smart. You have to think smart. I think we mark something on good. Mark something on good. And let me show you something there. So I think that was on 2 hours. But sometimes price reacts to an order block for like 3 times. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't react. I'm not saying it doesn't react to a particular zone for like 3 times or something thereabout. No, it happens. It's like, you see, it's very, very possible price to react to a zone, even if it's 4 times. You're not the one controlling the market, and the market is right to do whatever the market wants. But the ball of contention is you shouldn't actually trade any other block that's been mitigated. Mitigation we're talking about here is you have this. Price has mitigated this one, and price went up, and you still want to come back and trade this particular one again. That's no longer what an order block. That's a liquidity point. The only time that we'll be able to actually take trade from this type of order block is either we have this scenario price comes back here, then what? Continue to the upside, give us what? Inducement to this point, then comes back down to what? Continue to upside. That's what we actually want to see. To actually what? Validate this one. Or this price actually was sweeping liquidity before what? Continue to the upside, then this other block will be valid. But if it's just coming to give you equal lows and equal highs at this point, you won't come back to say, okay, because this price sold and you want to now come and what? Sell here. That's what I was just trying to explain on the GBP JPY. So it's kind of like when you're dealing with some kind of complex setup, it becomes crazy that you have to think really, really smart. Really, really smart. Excel, for the example you asked, I think we have one similar case on EU. On EU. So let's look at that price action on EU. Okay, so you have this order block on EU. And not just for Excel, I want everyone to look at this order block. Where is this order block? Is this order block here? Let's say we've not seen this price action. You have this here. And you have this. This candle is not filling it properly, but let's just work with this. You have this. And you have this. And you have this other block, and you have this. So if I'm to ask, which one will have loved to actually take a trade from Excel, or anyone that wants to answer, which one? Is it this one or this one? Is it this one or this one? Let's think. This one or this one? Because you have to be very, very careful when you're actually making your other blocks. Like, you have to be very, very careful. And when you have a lot of other blocks, actually what? Now, you want to actually what? Look at. You actually want to look at. Yes, if you look at this one, this is where we have the fair value gap. And this is where we have this last break of structure. And this is where the what? The push to the downside came in from. But you have this liquidity above. You definitely want the other block to be at the extreme. The extreme, now you're talking about the extreme, but the extreme has been mitigated. The candles has actually pierced into one another. That's it. So you have to be very, very logical. Like, you have to be very, very logical. You have to be very, very logical in actually what? Marking your other block. And if you get to, if it gets confusing most times that you don't know what to actually mark, now, this is what to do. When it gets to points that you don't know what to work, you know that what you want to see price react from this zone. Now, when you want to see price react from this zone, let me just show you an expo. So we have this price at this high. Just go down to 15 minutes and check if you have a valid confirmation for you to actually what? Sell. This is what I want to see. So we have, this is the high. So we have what? This low here. We have this low here. That's our change of character. And what? This is what? The last break of structure we had to the upside. Having this change of character, we want to see this. That's our other block. You see this candle wick that went up? So you see this particular candle that went up. This one provided what? Liquidity. We were expecting price to pull back up, but this price never came into this zone. And price has been dropping downwards to the downside. Let me get to see if we can get another one that have a piercing. Let's get to C. So the price has been dropping all the way to the downside, and I think this is also giving us another example for multiple order blocks, or explain liquidity pool to us again. So if you see at this level here, I think in one of the assignments, someone sent this EU setup and the person was marking here as the order block. We said we don't want to see choppy range when we are marking our order blocks. That's what I wanted to say. It's somehow confusing, but I just need to watch this class over and over again. It's not even about the watching of the class over and over again. When you actually what gets to pick a lot of things properly is when you start practicing, when you start executing, when you start actually what drawing your chart or doing analysis, and you see where price gets to react from. I think it will now make more sense. I think now when I'm explaining it to you now is because of what my own experiences and how I've been dealing with the chart. So you've learned, you now have to go back to the drawing board, because the truth is not everybody at the end of the day will actually trade in my style. What I mean by my style is I don't actually go down to refining chart a whole lot. I stick to 1 hour I take my chart from 1 hour 4 hours, strictly because I don't like my chart being noisy. Blessed say I'm the person that did that. Now, if you're talking about chart refinement, Ibo should make her sell. She does that a lot. Okay, so if you look at this point, I don't know. Blessed say he's the one. I can't remember, but I can actually remember. If I see any chart that was sent for the assignment, I can actually picture them. But like if I just see them, I can actually remember what each person did do. So this is it, and you can actually see you can have this momentum here, and you have this choppy movement, and you now come to mark here as the other block. So blessed, if you say you're the one, you've seen what happened, right? Have you seen? You'll have taken a stop loss. You'll have taken a stop loss, and that's why I actually want for the serious ones, we'll create a different group where we'll be doing maybe daily chart analysis every day for only serious persons, so that you come, you explain your chart, share your views, everybody will get to criticize you. You get to criticize other people to make you sit up, and it will make you do more work, because by the time they will criticize their chart like 5 times, you will sit up properly. So this is what we want to look at for. So if it's something like we actually looking at taking a buy, if it's something like we're actually taking a buy on this particular pair, this is what we want to see. We want to see price come to this zone. This is what I want to see. I have not looked at the overall trend. I'm just working with what we have on this 4 hours. So, and this is what I was explaining. Was it the first day where I was talking about when you have this momentum and you have all of this choppy move, just forget about taking any trade till price comes back to this zone. It can still get to this zone and it will still violate, but the only advantage when you work with extreme zone, or when you work with zones that have more momentum or more impulse movement, the only advantage is a lot of times those zones will hold compared to the ones you have here. All you had there was liquidity built, trying to validate this zone for you to actually take trade. So that's what you want to see. Now, I think we have something similar to AUD. AUD here. Sorry about my charts. Let me put this on 2 hours so we get to see something. If this is able to actually give us better understanding. All right. So look at this particular chart. So if you look at this particular chart, you see we had break of structures all the way to the upside. Where did I mark as my other block? The extreme. I didn't see anything here to mark as other block. What I was seeing here was liquidity seat. I have my line, and I've been looking out for what I saw: change of character, break of structure, and I was expecting this market to actually come back to this zone again. You can see the arrow down, but price never did, and price came very close to this zone, and you see price pushing to the upside. Now, what was the next thing I want to see on this AUD? I want to see a clear break a clear break above this zone. And a clear break above this zone is what will make me anticipate for a buy to this zone. You need to always trade from zone to zone. Now let me get to look at the comment section and let's look at the issues we're having. So a quick out of topic relating to trading. How were you able to get hands on quick tools? Yeah, because I always have to access my tools from the left. Okay. It's just to set your favorite. I'm going to teach you how to do it now. Could be answered towards the end of the class. So you've already interrupted now, but I'll just get to attend. So this is it. If you come to year 2, look at this first part. You see the star icon. If you just star anything, it will appear on your screen just like what I have here. So I decided to just star should I say frequent used tools by me, because I don't use FIB, I don't use a lot of complicating words to my charts are always just what you see, my rectangular box, my arrow. This arrow is because of what my classes I host daily, so that's why I use it for like just direction, and the path for what demonstration. Then this I don't actually use it most, but I use it mostly on JPY pairs. We are going to use it too. Then my trend line and my position to rectangle brush. I don't use my brush to always too, but these are just what I just decided to put on. If you see the ones that are on my favorite, you see they are yellow in color. I don't know what your own color will be showing, but if you just click on the star, then you will see them here, and you can decide to position them anywhere you want. You can move it up. You see where I'm holding? You can decide to hold it, but I like it being at this top right corner or down part, so that it doesn't get to should I say cause some distraction on my chart or make my chart look funny or something. So just add to favorite. So that's just it. Ooh. Let's look at another pair. We did something on the last class. We did something on a cash CHF. Cash CHF. No, is it cash CHF? No, USD card. USD card. And I told us we are going to look at that today. All right, so this is what we actually did during the last class on Thursday. And I believe very well you can remember this chart. For those that actually maybe watched the video diligently, and those that actually participated in the class actively. You see, we had this break of structure, this push, we have this chubby move, and we said this was what our liquidity or our inducement. What did you see? Price reacted from within this zone to the upside, and you can see price is dropping into this zone. So you can actually see price dropping into this zone. So always know how to actually mark your order block properly, and know when you have 2 or 3 order blocks, always try to make use of the extreme. Always try to make use of the extreme. It will give you a clear and more precise entries. It will also improve your trade setup. I'm actually speaking from experience. And for those that have actually been sending in their chart, and those that have actually been correcting, and they've actually been doing like excellently well. Like, I'm so happy with the chart I'm seeing just within 2 weeks of these classes, because this is like week 3, if I'm not mistaken. This is like week 3, and just within 4 days of classes, 4 days, people are actually doing some magic. It's not magic per se, but they've actually gone back to the drawing board to actually do what needs to be done. So if you're also on this call and when you send your work, I tell you go back and do something, that's anyway, go back and do something. Don't feel like maybe I hate you. If you're not getting it right, I will tell you you're not getting it right, because it's better you should I say, pay the sacrifice or do what is right now to save your account. Because for those that have been trading that on this call, they know what I'm talking about. They know what I'm talking about. So please, let's do it to try our best to actually help ourselves to do this. So I believe we are done with order block. With this tonight, we are done with order block. And as time goes on, all of what we've learned day 1, day 2, day 3, 4, 5 today, we'll be using them just the way we've been using market structure, liquidity, directional bias, and all of those things. That's what we'll be using too as the time comes. So by Friday, we'll be taking a new topic. So if you know you're still having issues with order block, please go back to the drawing board and try to get your work right. So this is 9:17. So let's get to take some questions if you're having issues or things you need to be explained better again to you while we're on this course. So I want to welcome questions now before we call it a night. So if you have questions, bring them on. And as we are taking questions, you know how we do it before we end the call. If you've not liked this live section, hit the like button. As we are taking questions, hit the like button. So more questions if you have any. We don't have questions. That means we are okay and everything well understood. I believe so. So the next assignment coming up, that means we can handle it properly. I believe so. No question. So we should end it here tonight. Let's interact now. Let me know in the comment section. If there is no question, okay, let me know in the comment section. This topic is well understood, so as what previous topic we've done too. Understood and taken. Let's know in the comment section too. Yes. For divine, now, one thing is actually identifying a valid break of structure or change of character. So if you have this into this zone, let me get to take this out. Okay, let's work with this. So let's say for this one, if I want to use 15 minutes to actually enter this trade, this is what I want to see. I want to see this price drop. This is on 2 hours, but let's assume we're working with 15 minutes. I want to see price give me this on 15 minutes. Then price drop into this zone. Now, price dropping into this zone, where is my change of character? This is it. And price should give me my order block. Now, for me to take this trade, this is what I will see. At this point, I have my change of character here on 15 minutes. Remember, this zone is marked from my 1 hour or from my 2 hours. Then when price pierces into my zone, I will now bring my chart to 15 minutes. I will now bring my chart to 15 minutes. Now, this 15 minutes is to actually get the confirmation properly. So this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see on the 15 minutes. I want to see this last time price should be able to break above it. Then price comes back to give me what? My order block. Now, the way I take my 15 minutes confirmation, if I don't have a fair value gap on it, I'm not taking it. Note, if I don't have a fair value gap, I'm not taking it. If I don't have inducement before this, my 15 minutes, I don't take it. If I don't have inducement, I don't take it. If I don't have fair value gap, the same criteria as I use in the external is what I use on the smaller time frame. That's how I mark my my setup. So now, that is it for the smaller time frame. I think the next question is so if there is no inducement present but liquidity is present, can we still take the trade? Definitely. Now, that's how engineered liquidity comes in. See the way inducement is formed. Let me get to look at this. Look at this one. This level here is your inducement. Before this is your order block. This is your inducement. This one is your inducement. Now look at engineered liquidity now. Price pull up. Come back down close to this point. Then tap into the zone properly before what? Going up. So this one is your engineered liquidity. That is it. Now, this engineered liquidity is actually given to you to actually what? Validate this zone. So if you mark your order block, and you don't see this engineered liquidity before the order block, that order block is invalid. You see, if you come to my chart, if you come to my own chart personally, this is what you will see. Sometimes you can see price this way, and look at what I will do, just like what we marked on USD CHF. I marked the first order block, this, and when I marked it, what did I say? I said, if I don't get engineered liquidity before it, like this, I'm not taking it. So if I should have a pattern like this, if I should have this, and price comes back into my zone immediately, is a no. I have no business with that trade. I'm not taking it. See, trading is boring. Hear it from me, trading is boring. And if I should tell you that last week to this week, I've just taken just one trade. Yesterday, I had good markup on gold and BTC, but I wasn't home. I had an appointment that I went out for yesterday. Those that sent me messages yesterday knew that what I didn't even get to reply to them till it was night. Some people said I replied to them today because I had a lot of engagements yesterday. So I didn't even get to take those trades. Was it yesterday? I before yesterday that those trades played out so massively, like so good. So that is it. So when you understand your patterns, you don't end up taking everything you see in the market. Now, let's look at the next question. We'll watch again for questions, but for now, all good, except no questions are understood. For now, I will say, oh God, I will just go over the video again. Okay, see, I think one good thing I actually love about the whole of the process, and I love about myself, that I love myself for, is you can't send me your chat and you will not get a response. Some persons even send me chat and immediately message comes into my WhatsApp. I'm even opening it. Because if I'm on my laptop and your message comes in, I will just definitely open. If it's chat related, if don't chat me and come and do hi. If you do hi, your message will remain down doing hi. But if you just send me chat, definitely you will get the response immediately. Or you tell me you have a question, and it's not you have a question, then you wait for me to do you what is it. As you're sending, send with your chat, and don't send me more than 1 minute voice note. It's better tell me, sir, please can I call you? And I'll tell you, okay, call me. I'll attend to you. But don't send me 1 minute voice notes. More than 1 minute. I will not listen to it. If you send me more than 1 minute, then don't worry, I'll open music studio for you to go there and do your music career properly. That's it. But just tell me you want to give me a call. I take calls. I don't get so busy to the point that if you want to send me chat, I'll tell you no. See, why I actually dedicate so much time to actually listening to people that have issues with their chat is, number one, a lot of persons that gets to lose money, a lot of persons that gets to blow their account, a lot of persons that gets to make mistakes in trading is because they don't actually have someone to talk to. Having someone that you can actually share your chats to before you take that trade, before you take it, and the person tells you, this is a good setup, or the person tells you, no, this one is not good, it's a plus. Is a plus. If I'm not mistaken, I can say that actively from this community, for those that have been serious, I can say that more like up to 30 persons. Let me say 25 to 30 persons. I can actually send them a channel and be like, mark this chat, and they will do something good for me. Even if I know they will make some mistakes. But this is what we call transformation. This is what we call improvement. Under 2 weeks or under 3 weeks. I'm sure a lot of us on this call have actually been thinking of trading, or we've been looking at the charts for like more than 1 year, or let me just say from January till now. That's like over 10 months. And yet, you still didn't understand this whole chart stuff. But I'm able to actually break it down and do a follow-up. And that's one thing I love doing when it comes to trading. I do a lot of follow-up. If you tell me you're broke, I will not do follow-up on you. That's your business. But if you tell me trading, definitely I will do it because I know the depression that comes with when you are on a losing streak. Now, I will get to handle the whole of psychological part of trading. That will not be on YouTube. It's either be on a WhatsApp call or something. So anybody that's not available, you've missed that one. It's not recorded. I won't record it. That's the secret part of trading and the most serious part of trading. So we'll call it a night, and thank you for everyone that actually joined, and my sincere appreciation to those that have actively been participating in this class from day one without missing a section. I know those that have actually been participating in the comment, whether their answers are wrong or right, they've been showing up, they've been making comments, even in their assignments, they've been consistent. Whether it's right or wrong. See, the issue most persons are having is they feel like he might condemn my chat, or my chat might not. No, do it and send. And when I tell you go and do a correction, you go and do it. Go and do it. If you don't do it, you will do it tomorrow. See, I always say it. If you don't learn well now, you will finish this class and you still go and pay. I don't know if anybody even does class for $100, but you still go and pay $100, $200, $300 to somebody to still teach you the same thing. And the crazy part of that one is you might not even have access to the person the way you have access to me. I think maybe one of these days I'll just screenshot the messages from just this class group when people are sending their chats to my team, and you see that I have a lot of messages to attend to aside my personal life. And yet I still make sure that before the day ends, I reply to everybody from this community. That one I'm very, very sure. Nobody can say, you sent me a message, your message lasted more than 24 hours. So come up with your problems. If you have them, come, we'll talk. If it's something I need to do a DM, like put you on call, I will put you on call. I will talk to you. I will explain things to you. I'm very, very open, and I'm ready to help whoever is ready to grow and build. Meet me. I'm not that person that says, I form business. I will help you. Come with your issue. Don't come and tell me you don't have money to eat. Me, I don't get to chop. But what I'm saying, leave the cruise. But what I'm saying is, I want to see everyone build this and build it perfectly. I'm serious. So please, let's do it to be serious and keep pushing. Definitely. What I'm very, very sure is before the end of this month. This month has already ended, but let's say, okay, give or take, before next month will end, definitely what we have a lot of profitable traders from this community, plus the follow-up classes. The follow-up classes is not like it's actually like a follow-up community where what we'll send in our chat, we'll discuss our chat before we actually take our chat, all of those things, just helping us build ourselves, helping us grow better. Because the main target of this whole process is by January next year, we want to have a lot of profitable traders. And I hope that what maybe by next year, when I want to host something like this again, I want to see volunteers from this community, profitable traders that will be what willing to actually what sit in this capacity to actually what help take some days, some turns to actually what run these classes too, to also give back to the society. Simple. It's not easy coming up here every day to show up, the time, the energy, the resources. But once I can guarantee is what I'm willing to actually what build other people too. So thank you all for tonight, and I hope at the end of the day, the time you've actually put in, you will get to benefit from it. Max, I think this class will be ending next month. Max 19th. Get it clear, Max 19th, because after 19th, I might not be available. I might not be available till January. So Max, we'll see what we can do to actually make sure that everything is given out before 19th, or the whole courses are actually taken out, and anything that should be left should be maybe something minor that maybe within December Christmas period or something, I can actually go, okay, those are available, or those that still want to still show up and get to tap one or two will get to, but definitely the community will still be active. The community will still be active, but I might not be I will not be available or very consistent, just like I've been. That's it. I'll have something outside that will actually required me to be off. So I'll be offline. So do well to at least make good use of now that I'm still available and get everything you need right. So thank you once again. I've said this thank you like more than 50 times. So thank you and good night. Do have a good night rest. So see you by Friday, and don't forget my DM always open for your questions, for your chats, for your ideas, whatever you need concerning trading as a whole. Always do well to DM me, and I'm going to see you through. So peace out.